21st Platoon. Hard drop. Secure our landing zone.
Understood.
Over the target in 5.
Hang on to your helmet.
Alright, Grunts, welcome back to From ODST to Helldiver. In this video, we are going to talk about ship upgrades. So, in the past, we have already covered all of the stratagems, primary weapons, etc. Now we're going to talk about a couple of ways to unlock those stratagems, as well as boost your overall performance in-game, and how to spend a lot of those resources that you may have been gathering. So, let's take a look here. In ship, we have the armory over here. We got this little screen here. We have the mission maps and pods there, as well as our democracy officer. We have our science officer.
The Democratic Council ensures that all elected leaders act in accordance to the values we all share.
Right. Yeah, that screen there. But back here we have several different things like the Hellbomb mine deployer. We have ammunition and several other things. And you can see we have a ton of things in the back here, and that is actually the Eagle for the Eagle airstrikes in the ship bay, as well as the shuttle in the back to pick you up when you're done. So there's actually a ton of things in your ship if you're looking around, and my guess is when you get in your own ship, a lot of these things are going to look very different for you at the very beginning, because your ship actually changes as you purchase more upgrades. For instance, right here I used to have monitors right here, and it has since opened up into this room back here with several different diagnostics and other things. But essentially this ship management section right here was up on that wall and much smaller than this. And this is where the focus of the video is going to be this time around. We can open up the ship management, and you're going to see we can cycle through 4 different things inside of ship management. So the first thing is we can see our destroyer here. And if you hit the X button, you can change the name of your ship. And this is done by changing to something over here on the left. There are several different options, and I'm not going to get through all of them by any means, but you can absolutely have a field day trying to come up with really cool names. Aegis of Glory. Arbiter of Honor. Dun 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 dun. Beacon of Humankind. Blade of Independence. Yada yada yada. Anyways, you can do all those. You hit the A button and you apply the name. I am currently going to keep my ship's name of Halo of the People, because that is what I consider this game. But you can also check out at the top right here, you have all of the currency that you currently have. There's rec points, there's super credits, there's medals, and then common, rare, and super samples, as well as what level you currently are, and then it shows your ship progression. Now on day 1, you guys are going to have 0 out of 30 unlocked, most likely. If we go over here to the right just once, you can see we have stratagems. Now, I have been playing this game for quite some time, and it's kind of obvious because I have all of these upgrades unlocked. I have went ahead and bought every stratagem from here. Orbital cannons, we've got hangars, upgrades, we've got bridge. All of these are different stratagems, the engineering-based stratagems here. All of these. And then we even have the robotics workshop section. Now you can purchase each and every one of these. It is going to cost usually, and I think always, rec points, that yellow square with the R at the top right there, as well as you keep going down, more and more samples. I'm fairly sure about that. It might just be all rec, but I think you also need some samples to get the stratagems, but maybe it's all rec. It's been a long time since I've had to buy anything from here, so forgive me, but I know that rec is definitely something that you have to use for these upgrades, and you'll buy different stratagems here. But you'll also notice these bottom sections here. You can see it says Chemical Agents, Urban Legends, Servants of Freedom, Borderline Justice, Master of Ceremonies, Force of Law, and currently Control Group is the last one. Why do those sound familiar? Well, if we hit the X button and we open up our war bonds, Steeled Veterans, Cutting Edge, Democratic Detonation, Public Patriots, Commandos, Freedom's Flame, Chemical Agents, Truth Enforcers, Urban Legends, Servants of Freedom, Borderline Justice, Masters of Ceremony, Force of Law, and Control Group as the final war bond as of the recording of this video, which is a week and a half before the release on the Xbox. So as you can see, they kind of work in tandem, but you do not buy them from here. These ones, they're just listed here, I think, for convenience. You can see what you have unlocked as a whole. You do only have to unlock them with medals from the war bond, so don't worry about that, but they are conveniently all there. And you can navigate up and down with the triggers as well. But you absolutely need to start coming this way immediately and unlock just about everything that you possibly can. I would not worry so much about a grind. It does take a while to unlock things, but while you're unlocking things, you're going to get to play test them. So just be patient, keep playing, and you will get these unlocked pretty quickly. You can also see from the top right here, there's a slight video demoing exactly what these all do. And you can even see with the recoilless rifle, for instance, you can see the partnership option where you can fire several times faster if you have a teammate that is carrying the backpack. Now you yourself can carry the backpack and reload it yourself, but having a teammate is much faster. You can see that with all of the weapons that include a backpack slot. But I've already covered stratagems. The next thing we need to talk about is this third tab, which is the actual ship upgrades. So these purchase the stratagems, this is your ship upgrades, and this I am very familiar with. This is only going to require rec at the beginning, but as you begin slowly increasing down to the last tier of the ship upgrades, it is going to begin requiring samples, which is the green, orange, and pink items up there between my level and the medals. Now currently I have those maxed out at 500, 250, and 100, and that is because I have purchased all of these upgrades for my ship, and we can go ahead and go through them one by one and just see exactly what the possibilities are. Now you will have to unlock these in order. They're going to go 1 through 5, it looks like, for everything, although I've heard a rumor that we're going to get a 6th and potentially 7th slot eventually, but for now we just have 5. So, first thing up is the Patriotic Administration Center, and the very first thing is support weapons deploy with the maximum number of carryable magazines. I've been playing this game so long, I forgot that they initially don't drop on full ammo. Next up, we have the streamlined request process. It decreases support weapon stratagem cooldown by 10%. It also shows specifically which ones that covers. Next up, we have the hand carts. Decrease the cooldown of all backpack stratagems by 10%. And then down here we have the superior packing methodology. Resupply stratagem boxes. Refill support weapons with the maximum number of carryable magazines, which is huge. So I highly recommend you upgrade these. Now you will have to make decisions as you go along, and I don't want to speak on your behalf of what's smart and what's not. You'll eventually unlock them all if you spend enough time playing. I think all of these were unlocked for me when I hit around level 70. So you'll probably be looking at something similar if you stay on top of it. This last one is payroll management system. Reduce reload time of all support weapons by 10%, which is fantastic. Next, we have the orbital cannons for your ship. And the first one is exploding shrapnel. Reduces damage fall off from center of explosions caused by orbital stratagems. So you'll do more damage with the radius and it will drop off much slower. So that's very, very good. It's a good upgrade. It does only specifically cover a couple of different orbital bombardments, but still, very good upgrade. Barrage orbitals fire one additional salvo per barrage, so this is going to cover all the barrages, and also very, very good. More guns is awesome. 0G breach loading. Orbital stratagem cooldown time is reduced by 10%. Very, very good. Atmospheric monitoring. Orbital HE barrage spread is reduced by 15%. So essentially, it just makes these focus fire much better and will actually target your enemies. So very, very good. High density explosives increase the damage radius on explosions caused by orbital stratagems by 10%, which can be quite devastating actually. It sounds like not much, but it actually is a huge impact. Next we have the hangar upgrades. First is liquid ventilated cockpit. Eagle stratagem cooldown time reduced by 50%. That's pretty big. Now that is in between shots, so when I was calling in, for instance, the 500 kilo, and I only had to wait 7 seconds before calling another one in, that would be this one. So originally it's 14 seconds, which when you hear that, it reduces it by 7 seconds, sure, but it does make these very, very fast at being able to be called in. Now next up we have the pit crew hazard pay, and this reduces Eagle rearm time by 20%, and that is when the Eagle has to go back to your ship in order to restock the Eagle stratagems. So after you've expended all your Eagles, then it has to go back to the ship to reload. That is what is getting reduced here by 20%. Next we have the expanded weapons bay. Increases number of Eagle stratagem uses per rearm by 1. That's pretty good. That's extra uses before it has to go back and get a reload, and specifically for my favorite, the 500 kilogram, it means you get to use it twice before you have to wait. Very, very good. Next is the XXL weapons bay, and Eagle stratagems that drop multiple bombs will drop 1 additional bomb. That's also very, very good. And then the last up for the hangar is the advanced crew trait. So Eagle Rearm cooldown further reduced by 10% if called in while Eagle uses still remain. So if you call it in early, just to get that extra quick reload, you get another 10% off. So very, very good in mission, very good to do when you've used your Eagles and still have some left and you want to reload it before you get to the next objective in mission. Very, very good. Next up is the bridge here. We have the targeting software upgrade. And this has a 1-second reduction in call-in time for all orbital stratagems. That is actually very, very good. The call-in times for most of these are 4 or 5 seconds, so that's about 20% shave-off time on average. Next up we have the nuclear radar. Increases minimap enemy ping radius by 50%. This is going to help you actually in-game with your minimap. You'll be able to see enemies coming 50% further away. Very, very useful. Next up we have the power steering. Improves steering for Helldivers during Hellpod deployment. So this is when you drop into a mission, you can actually steer your Hellpod and land where you want to for the most part. So this is pretty useful too. Next up we have the enhanced combustion, and this is specifically all things fire. Fire damage from stratagems increased by 25%. This is key and essential if you're going to do a flame build. Now this does not affect the primary or secondary weapon, the crisper, that are miniature flamethrowers. Those do not benefit from this, but any of your stratagems do, and they are listed on the right here. And then last for the bridge is the morale augmentation. This reduces the cooldown time of all stratagems, all of them, by 5%. That's phenomenal. Very, very good. Alright, I think this is second to last. Engineering base. We have the synthetic supplementation. This is going to be focused mostly on turrets here. Reduces cooldown time for sentries, emplacements, and resupply stratagems by 10%. Very good if you're going to use any of the mines or sentries that I covered in a recent video. And then next up here, advanced construction increases the health of sentries by 50%. That's massive. We have the rapid launch system. All emplacement stratagems launch immediately once called in, reducing overall deployment time. So this is huge. This is specifically very huge for emplacements. Mines. Whew. Getting to have your mines come in at a decent speed is essential if you're going to use mines. Next up we have the circuit expansion, and this is specifically for lightning. Lightning arcs fired from weapons and turrets jump to one additional enemy. This is how I was getting away with shocking multiple things with the arc thrower, and why the Tesla Tower is deadly. Very, very deadly. And then last up for Engineering Bay is the streamlined launch process. All support weapon stratagems launch immediately once called in, reducing overall deployment time. I can't even remember a time before this. This is one of the best ones here, and is very, very good at the very beginning of the game. You waste much less time waiting for things to come in, Typically when I load into a mission, I call a resupply, I call a backpack item if I've got it, and then I call a support weapon, and by the time the support weapon drops, everything else, more or less, is also already dropped. So this is a very efficient, streamlined, speed up process. Also very, very good if you have the expandable anti-tanks. Anyways, on to the robotics workshop. First up for ship upgrades is the dynamic tracking. All sentry stratagems launch immediately once called in, reducing overall deployment time. Super good. Next is the shock absorption gel. Increase ammo of all sentry stratagems by a whopping massive 50%. I love it. Next up we have high quality lubricant. Sentries rotate towards new targets more quickly. Now this is very, very good, but I do remember when I first got this, I noticed that the turrets were much more eager to kill me and my allies once they were able to rotate on a dime. So keep that in mind. The machine gun and Gatling sentries specifically like to just shoot through you to get to one enemy from the other side of you. So keep that in mind. Not that this is bad, this is definitely one of the better ones, I think, especially if you're going to be using any of the turrets, but it will take some adjusting to once you get it in to reacquaint yourself with how the machine guns fire. Then next up we have the blast absorption, and this gives sentries take 50% less damage from explosions. Now this is specific to explosions, but still very useful, especially if you're using them against like the Illuminate or the automatons. They like to lob grenades their way, and also very good against any of the bugs that tend to explode when you kill them. If they get too close to your turrets, they can damage them, and this is going to reduce that by 50%. But I would say most of the time this isn't going to be a huge factor. Still very good, but not something you're going to get benefits from all the time. And then last up for the robotics workshop is the cross-platform compatibility. Mortar sentries prioritize fire at marked targets. This is what I was talking about when I was going over the mortars, that when I tag something, they will begin firing on it. Now this does not affect if you target an ally or if you target just the ground somewhere. This specifically only works when you target an enemy and you get that red icon after targeting them. But this is really, really good. Sometimes the mortars just fire at whatever they want, and you really need them to take out a specific enemy. So, very, very good, and adds some very interesting mechanics for some stealth play. Because when the mortars begin firing on things, sometimes they don't know where the mortar is firing from. They just know that they got attacked, and they'll scramble if it's far enough away that they didn't hear it firing it. And if you yourself are stealthed and are able to target enemies without being seen and have them get obliterated from apparently nowhere, that's huge for stealth. Definitely unlocks a new style of play. But that is it for the ship module section, which is where the actual ship upgrades are at. You will notice that as you begin upgrading these, your ship will expand, and you can see that in the pictures here. As you can see, it started off this way and slowly got more things added before eventually expanding back. This is on the exterior of the ship, adding guns. This is in your hangar. You can see that there are quite a bit more armaments. This is the bridge. As you can see, the mission map would be on the left of where this is looking. Yeah. Not a huge amount of differences, but more monitors and some flags. The engineering bay section, you can see, slowly starts getting more and more upgrades until the end. And then you can see over here the robotics workshop has several things going on as well. Alright, so that about covers the ship modules. The very last thing is that over here at ship management, you can do your vehicle customizations. So the first one up is the shuttle. Oh, sorry, the shuttle. You can toggle between anything that you have unlocked. Now I have this unlocked from a war bond. There are several more skins. I just typically don't prioritize skins when I'm unlocking things for games like this. I tend to stick pretty much to functionality foremost and style as a second thought. However, on occasion there are some things that I spoil myself with, but yeah, so here you can change these out. Just hit A and change. We have the delivery system, which are all the hell pods, and I do have the true blue hell pod pattern unlocked. We have the exosuits. This is what your standard exosuit is going to look like, and this is what mine looks like. Very, well, much preferred for me at least. And very last thing here is the FRV, Fast Recon Vehicle. Now, I fully expect when you guys join us from the Xbox that this right here, this elongated warthog, is going to get a new skin. So be looking out for that, and if you see me in game, I will most likely have gotten enough medals to get that unlocked immediately on day one. Fingers crossed. If you see me out on the streets, I'll most likely be rolling around in this thing. To celebrate Halo, of course. Alright guys, I think that is about it for the ship upgrades here. You can see the different sections now that I've pointed them out. Hangar back here and all that. You can see we have the upgrade over here that we were showing with different monitors and flags. And you can't really see the exterior of the ship except when you're about to launch out. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in game pretty soon. Good luck out there. Hey guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of From ODST to Helldiver. If you found any of the information in this video useful, please go ahead and leave a like. And if you have any questions about anything, you want some clarification, or maybe you want to sync up in-game, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and maybe I can add you. We can get a couple of games together. And if you want to see a couple of more videos like this, why don't you go ahead and subscribe. That would really be appreciated. And hopefully this video gets you guys a little bit more prepared for when this inevitably drops on the Xbox. I hope everybody watching sees so many similarities between the Helldivers and the ODSTs. They're pretty much doing all of the same things, and I do find this game is, without a doubt, one of the greatest Halo games in the last 10 years. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.